So before the break, we were discussing one of the model library of NetLogo. There it is. And I'm going to show you some of the interesting ones, which you can easily correlate what is happening over there. So one of them is wolf, sheep, and their predation. So we have this social network of relationship between herbivores and carnivores. Okay, so this is wolf going to eat sheep, and sheep is going to eat this grass. So we can tweak these parameters over here. Okay. So initial number of sheep, let us say we start with 46. Initial number of wolves, let us have quite less. And then always there is a speed of growth of any species, their reproduction rate. Same is true for sheep, wolves, and grass also. Grass takes some time to regrow or to grow to a larger volume. Okay, it depends on variety of the grass, season, incident rays. So we are ignoring those, and we are just going to learn what happens when one of these parameters is exceedingly overweighting other ones, like this one. So we have 46 sheep, 10 wolves, and then we have in between graph is over here, and the grass regrowth time, some parameter, it is not exactly in minutes or hours. Okay, and let us run this social network. So sheep have a natural tendency to eat the grass, okay, and wolves have a natural tendency to eat the sheep, okay. So let us run this again. So let us increase the number of wolves, and now this time wolves are eating the sheep. So what you see on the screen is a very, very fast iteration of the life cycle. So in nature, it is quite slow, but we can predict, we can simulate what will happen by the year 2030, what will happen by the year 2050 if we keep on doing like this. So it's a balanced thing. It's none of the species is being wiped out. It is a balanced thing. So let us change the parameters. And if the number of sheep initially is much more, okay, and grass grows at a smaller pace, we can imagine ourselves. We are 7.4 billion in number. Okay, if we continue eating up all the resources, someday we are also going to die. Okay, then if the humans are lesser or no more there, so the grass and other species will come up with with more speed, and then the balance of the nature will be restored. So we can study. So 63 sheep, 33 wolves. Increase these predators. And this one. Okay. So you can change the parameters and you can see what is the effect. So similar library, I have one more library. So fireflies is a very common species of insect. So they quickly reproduce and they outnumber any other species. So we have this one also. So it's the time for which the flash lasts. If we increase this and now see what is the effect. So this is how the scientist or the social network analyst, they study any natural or synthetic phenomenon, how it is going to work, provided the rates continue like this only. So these numbers have some numerical significance. So I hope you have enjoyed NetLogo and the different simulations that it is having. Any questions on NetLogo before I move to the next software, which is Gephi? Any questions? Anything you liked about this? Okay, I'll move on to the next software. Again, an open source software which is called Gephi, Gephi. Somebody has commented. Honey, what is the purpose of NetLogo? I just showed you the purpose of NetLogo. Simulations and graphical visualizations. Okay, so this is a tool for doing analysis of different types of graphs. The moment you install this Gephi software, you need to have Java runtime environment, which is there, always there in Windows. Some or the other version is already there, but again, it will give you some prompt that you need to have this Java version or this Java version. Okay, it will show you some numerical value of the Java version, which you need to have for Gephi. And one tweak that I can tell you is, because it is going to do a lot of graphical calculations and processing, it requires a large amount of RAM. So let me show you what changes you need to do over here. So whenever you install Gephi, it gets installed over here, C program files, okay, here Gephi, and this folder etc. This file you need to change. So these are the settings of Gephi, and you have to look for something like this. It's some numerical values. So it is always in the power of 2, as RAM goes in the power of 2s. Okay, 1 MB of RAM is 1024 KB, 1 GB of RAM is 1024 MB. So by default, you will have a very small value over here. This is the minimum RAM and the maximum RAM over here. So by default, when you install any version of Gephi, it will give you 256 MB to 1024 MB of RAM that Gephi is allowed to use for processing. So just as an information that my laptop is having 16 GB of RAM. So comfortably, I can give 4 GB minimum and 8 GB maximum amount of RAM in this conf file. Okay, so default is 256 MB and 1024 MB. Okay, 0.25 GB to 1 GB. It is the default setting that you get when you install Gephi. It depends on how much RAM you have in your laptop and how much you can spare for Gephi. You make these changes over here. And when you are doing these changes, the Gephi should be turned off. So as I have already done this, so I'm taking you back to Gephi. So the moment it turns up, it gives you a model libraries. I'll open it again and show you again. Okay. Let me restart Gephi. The moment Gephi starts, you get this type of screen. Okay, so there are two concepts of data sets. Data set means organized data for some research. It's not only social network analysis research, any type of research where you want data. If you organize the data, standardize the data, that collection of data is called a data set. The two types of data sets are there, synthetic and the created ones. So synthetic means somebody else has already created this data set and you're going to learn how to work with this data set. Okay. Second type of data set is that you create out of your own expertise. So better to start with the already created data sets if you don't know how to create a data set. So any randomly, I am going to open Gephi file. So it is giving me these. This is a number of nodes and edges, and it is an undirected graph or a mixed graph or directed graph, whatever. So here I click this. Okay. So this is a graph, and you can use a mouse or scroll to increase or decrease the size. And if you want the names of the nodes to appear, that is called the labels. So you can hit this, and the names of the nodes, they will also appear over here. So somebody has already done some research and they have created a data set. It is called synthetic data set. Somebody else's. Okay. So they might have done some experiment, and this is the data set you have over here. So you can change the layout. And again, this will take time according to your hardware configuration. Okay, this one is not allowed here. So different types of layouts, how you want the graph to appear. Okay. It depends on what you want to do with this graph. So this is how you move it. And again, our Twitter experiment, what you can do. So I'm clicking over here. So before that, you need to update your plugins. Plugins means any extra functionality you want to add to the regular software. Okay. So yesterday when I was preparing this, so I updated most of the plugins. So what you want to do with Gephi, some libraries, some coding has already been done and it is available in the repository of the Gephi. So I have downloaded some of the plugins. They're already in the installed. This one is showing to me. So one of these is a plugin to import the data from Twitter. So I'm going to click over here, Twitter streaming importer. Okay. And credentials means same Twitter, 4 things, long username and passwords. So all those username and passwords I have copied and pasted from the Twitter developer website. Okay. So these are unique to me. So if you create your account on developer.twitter.com, so you will get a unique, different set of these 4 tokens. And here it is to be inserted. Now, what you want to track? Anything you can tell me what is happening. COVID, Covishield, Covaxin, India, Bengal elections, whatever you want to track from COVID, from Twitter.
Bengal elections.
Bengal elections, firstly, I'll have to check. I'll let you know, ma'am. Firstly, I have to go to Twitter and okay, this is violence is also there. So I have to check the spellings of the hashtag. So if it is there, or I can go to so you have to copy the exact spellings.
So let's go with the violence, Bengal violence.
So it's fine. So I just wanted to make sure the spellings are correct, and I've copied it. Fine. So this is to be added, and what languages you want to filter. So anybody comfortable in Bengali, they can use this also. Subhankar, is he here?
I guess Subhankar is with the life skills.
Okay.
He's joining life skills. Yeah.
So I'll click over here. Hashtag network because we're going to search for a hashtag. I have missed one step. You have to click on new project or new workspace. Okay, now the moment I click on connect, now it will connect to Twitter on my behalf. So how it is connecting on my behalf? Because I have given my 4 credentials from developer website to this application. So application talking on my behalf. Okay. So I'm hitting connect. So as the data pours in, I'll have some network building up over here. So I hope you can see it clearly. Because on my screen, I have a lot of zoom options. Is the workspace visible to all clearly?
Yes, sir.
So it will take some time for the data set to populate.
So can we zoom it a little bit?
I'm sorry.
Can we zoom it a little bit?
Let it populate. Then I'll zoom it.
Okay, okay, fine, sir. Fine, sir.
There's a concept which is called a Twitter rate limit. It allows a particular user how many tweets they can mine. So as I'm already always occupied with social network analysis, and many of my applications are always running. So it will allow me a certain set of tweets to be downloaded. So then it will pause all of my applications, and then again after a window of 15 minutes, it will allow me something. It goes like this, so that nobody can download a whole of the tweets dataset. So it's a commercial aspect. So labels, if I want to see what people are talking about this. Okay, now you have a graph. Now you can do certain calculations over here. Remember the concept of degrees. The degree distribution is here. All the calculations, graph density, average degree, clustering coefficient. So any calculations you can do over here. Tell me if you have this HTML report also on your screen. Shikha ma'am, is it visible? The new
Yes,
window
sir,
which has just
visible.
popped up. HTML report. Do you see this?
It's visible, sir.
Hello? It's visible? Okay, fine.
Yes, fine. Sir, it's visible.
Fine. So these are all mathematical parameters that you have just done calculated on this data set. And each of these values contains some meaning what you want to do. 6th semester students can correlate. We have just learned DB-scan algo in the machine learning lecture. So this is the DB-scan result. So similarly, all these parameters are over here. Okay, some problem with the ticks. Okay, I'll do it later on. This calculation I can leave it right now. So all these graphs and meanings, these are coming from that data set which we have just mined. Okay, based on this research, you can conclude. So this is populated. Now we have a lot of data. I'll disconnect it over here so that we can continue with the explanation part. So we can do a lot of things over here also. Coloring can be done because the graph is dense and we have allowed the labels. Now this is the graph. So different colors, they are in this range. Okay, you can make them appear brighter. Now we have something meaningful. Who talks to whom? I hope it is visible to all. Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible. Yes, sir.
So now we have online word of mouth related to Bengal violence and co-vaccine, whatever was our search criteria. So some communities have been identified. These people are talking about some common interests. Okay, of course they are mentioning something about Bengal violence, but their talks seem to be quite similar. Okay, so we have a community over here also, community over here also. So this is how the police and the civic authorities, they crack down on fake spread of messages. Okay, if you identify one fake message over here, it means the probability of fake news and fake messages is higher over here. And whoever it is over here in this graph, you always have their Twitter IDs. And from Twitter, because it's a law enforcement, you can get hold of who they are. So this is how the police and the governments, they track the things. Okay. So a much dense network requires a very high configuration system because the things which are quite popular on Twitter, like I am having a free user account with the Twitter developer. So if I am a somebody from the cyber cells, or if I'm a government authorized person, my rate limit would be higher, and the Twitter repository would allow me greater access to data, and the screen would be obviously filled with many other things, and I will have more things to track down what I'm supposed to do. So just for basic understanding, a community of two people, they are also talking about Bengal violence, but they're not talking to anybody else outside this network. Okay, similarly, this and this one. So this is how you track down the things. So you can highlight for your further references. Highlighting is there, screenshot is there. So you can save these as, okay, more highlighting options, dark theme. Okay. So focus only on this community and this person only, why he is talking like this. So this is how law enforcement goes on. Some questions. Welcome, ma'am. So over here, and let us check something related to and open a new project. It's hung up because of a large amount of calculations are taking place at the background, so it's not allowing me to change a certain settings. I'll have to close the Gephi and open it again. So it's up again. Let me search about KBC, which is again a hot topic on Twitter. So popular hashtags you have to search over here. We'll search for we can search about this person also, or Covishield. Yes, as a hashtag it is existing over here. Copy it. Again the language filter. New product. Now it will allow me. You can also search for the emojis. People put a lot of emojis in WhatsApp and Twitter. So if you're interested in what type of emojis are popular for this hashtag, so you can do that also. Depending upon the internet speed and the rate limit, some data will obviously appear over here. So we see. Something coming up. So any questions, anything to discuss, any elaborations? Students, come up with the questions. As I told you, it is also governed by the rate limit. So it's a time frame that you are allowed as a free user. So sometimes there are pauses. If you download too many tweets, so it will pause, and then after a certain time, it will allow you the data to be mined. This question, net logo, I think whatever you have written, your question is net logo for Windows or Linux. It is available for both the operating systems. It's your choice which net logo we need to install. Linux, or it depends on the OS that you have. Okay, it can be applied in any social sites. It depends on the plugin. If it is already available, okay, I'll tell you the basic difference between the programming language way of social network analysis and the tool based social network analysis. When you're going to use any tool, let it be Node Excel, Gephi, or any other tool. So many tools are there. I cannot even count the number. Forget about naming them. Okay, they have some predefined options set for you. Okay, YouTube, Twitter, Yahoo, Instagram, depends. And again, then they have some license issues. Free user, you can do only these things. Paid user, licensed user, okay, premium, that is called, you can do all of these things. So it depends on what is allowed in that tool. But if I talk of a programming language like R or MATLAB or Python, many times higher functionality and the freedom is available in the programming way of doing it. So we cannot do it right now because we are running short of time, and some other day when we have again this MSDC, I can introduce you to the basics of the Python way of social network analysis. So the beauty of the Python way of social network analysis is some people have already created some libraries, and you can just give a command pip install TP, pip install XYZ, pip install this one, and all those libraries would be available to you. So now that library can help you mine the things from anywhere in the world. Okay. If you don't know how to do it, you can download the library. If you are good at programming, you can create your own library. But yes, you can do it. So in this current world of information technology, 4G, smartphone revolutions, most of the information is accessible unless it is restricted by the government or some private players. The only thing is you need to have the right tool, or you need to have the right understanding of the programming language, how to mine it, and now what is to be done when you have mined it. Okay. So that is the only restriction. So now we have some data, only a few nodes are there. Okay. So now you can change the layout. So all of these are algos, different ways of representing the graph out of the table. So remember, we have tables. So for each of the data set that you mine, so it is always appearing in the form of a table. Remember, row and column, row, okay, row 1, row 2, and column 1, column 2. So everything is in the form of an Excel sheet. So you can export it as a CSV file. Okay. The default is CSV. Later on, you can save it as an XLS file, or you can publish it as a PDF. Also, you can import a spreadsheet if you already have a data set created using Python or Node Excel. So you can import that thing. So some more actions. Okay. So this one is when you want to have a better understanding of the data, what you are playing with. And this one is the graphical output. So it requires some processing. So some algos are complex. They require some processing. So it takes some time. Labels on. And this is what people are talking about this. Any new movie which is coming up? Movies are more popular. Any new movie?
Fast and Furious 9. F9.
Okay. Okay. Let me go to Twitter and can you help me with the spellings?
Sir, you need to put space. Chalo, I get.
This one?
So it's not open yet. Fast and Furious. It's F9. Sir, you can write KGF part 2 also. KGF chapter 2.
I'll KGF.
That can be
Chapter
KGF.
2.
Yes.
So it will give me some hints about it.
Yes.
Okay, this one is the hashtag.
Yes, KGF chapter 2. Sir, yes, right.
So some
Yes,
people would
this
obviously
one.
be talking about KGF, and let me open a new project so that we can have more data and we can have some complex relationships. Let's see what KGF does for us. Questions. Okay, Radhe movie is also there. Fine. Somebody has hinted on in the chat box.
Sir, yes, it's a Radhe movie. Salman Khan's new movie.
Yes. So in my lectures, I talk about movies a lot because movies are the most talked about entities on social networks. And even if I am teaching physics, I would take them to social network analysis. Even if I am teaching them some other subject, I will again take them to social network analysis. So this is how where I feel more comfortable. And movies give me a lot of data. So I'm always hungry for data so that I can visualize something. Okay. So let's wait for some time so that the graph appears over here. Okay. We can talk in the meantime. Anybody can come up with their mic and video and we can talk anything about social network analysis. It's an open house, everybody. It's an open house. Yes, Anurag, you turned your video on for a while. So let me see who all are present. You can see Ravi, Kamalpreet, Aryan, Priyanshu, Rajvinder.
Sir, I think Anurag is trying to connect to the audio.
Okay. I can tell you about Twitter rate limit. So it depends on what type of API you are using. You are given a pause after a certain time when you have downloaded some data. Okay, so let us see the standard ones. So after a gap of 900 requests or any 15 minutes when you are continuously connected with the Twitter API, so it gives you a pause. Okay, when the pause is over, then you are allowed to mine the data. Some data is over here. I think I have conveyed most of the basic things about social network analysis. Now it is upon the learner what they want to learn. So it's your way. If you're comfortable in programming, try to go by the route which is provided by Python, R, and MATLAB. Okay, and if you are not very comfortable with the programming part, so you can always go for Gephi, or it is Node Excel, or it is NetLogo, or any other tool which you are comfortable with. But both the ways you require a lot of reading about social network analysis, graphs, weights, communities. And the best thing is you read some research papers, some articles. Blogs are always there, but blogs are not authentic way of learning. Okay, it is like anybody who knows a little bit about a topic can write a blog, and nobody stops you from writing. The authentic way is download the research papers, download the textbooks which are very popular from genuine publishing houses. Okay, talk to your teachers, talk to somebody who is good at this or any other topic, not only social network analysis. So why I'm talking about this is we have seen not many students, they are referring to the textbooks. The textbooks are your best friends. Okay, only after you have read a textbook, now you want something advanced, what is happening on, okay, then you can read on certain blogs. So any questions before we wind up this session? Honey, you have written how analysis any patent, what major points analysis any patent, and what challenges of for opponents related. I'm not clear. Can you explain it, Honey?
सर मैं पूछना चाहता था अगर कोई पेटेंट है उसको एनालाइज करने का उसको एनालाइज कैसे किया जा सकता
I
है?
don't know
And
what analysis you want to do for any patent.
यस सर।
नहीं, मैं समझा नहीं कि आप पेटेंट का क्या करना चाहते हैं।
तो जैसे कोई भी पेटेंट है अगर उसको एनालाइज करना हो या
पेटेंट है
उसमें
क्या? आप I guess you don't completely understand what is a patent. It's a written document with some license information. So how can you analyze that?
सर रिसर्च का जैसे कोई इन्वेंशन है
It's not an invention. You have to read intellectual property rights, what can be patented, what can be registered, what can be copyrighted, what can be trademarked. So your intellectual property right comes under different categories, and patent is not the only IPR issue. So read about that, and then something with you, whenever you have some better understanding, then you can rephrase your question. So is Node Excel paid one? So Node Excel Pro, you have written Node Excel Pro paid one. Pro always means a paid one thing. So Node Excel Basic is a free one. Node Excel Pro is a paid one. That's a difference. So thank you everybody for listening to me patiently and sparing your time and connecting for this session. And
Welcome,
So we are lucky to have this session. It's
Thank you
beautifully
so much.
explained by you.
Thank you.
Lucky.
And
Yes.
very well
any of the
explained, sir,
students,
for the
thank
session.
you,
Thank you
Bahul sir.
so much.
Thank you, Gagan sir.
Sir,
Any students
you
who
very
would like to conclude whether they have gained something, or what do they expect out of the next MSDC class, so that we can also improve ourselves. See, always there is a scope of improvement. Even if you are the best one in your field, still a lot of improvement is needed. So we have many upcoming MSDC classes by different teachers, and again, if it could be by me also. So your valuable feedback is always welcome. So any student? Okay, fine. So thank you for being patient and remaining connected throughout the session, and see you next week. Okay, with some different and more interesting MSDC course. Okay, thank you everybody. Stay safe and stay connected. Stay connected socially, whether online or offline. Less of offline, but more of online. Okay, when the things get improved, okay, when the COVID is no longer there, so we can meet each other in the actual mode. That is the actual mode of being socially connected. Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.